All right. Thank you all once again for this 6th of May, 2026 Werewolf Technical Steering Committee meeting. Thank you all for joining and for those who are watching afterwards. We've got what seems like a full agenda today, but I don't think it's actually uh, requires that much work, so I don't think we'll have any problem getting through it. I would like to try to release 4.7, maybe not on the meeting, but to clear any objections or concerns, maybe with a release candidate. That I think should be a discussion, but I'll look to the committee to decide that. Since our last meeting, there was a discussion, or there was a pull request added from OpenHPC and Adrian. Thank you very much to him. Um, for adding integration testing to the Werewolf test suite. So I want to give a chance to talk about that. I want to look through the PRs that remain pending after the release goes out and start working towards see if there's anything that either we can assign to people or get closed out. And then I talked about this in our last meeting, but there wasn't much representation from the actual steering committee in our last meeting. So I wanted to bring up again some thoughts that on behalf of CIQ, have been having about what it would look like to get a Werewolf V5 out. And we've talked about this a few times in the technical steering committee before, but these are the things I'm thinking about and the things I would like to poke CIQ to do and put resources on. So I wanted to give that to the committee and have that be available for discussion. But anything else that we need to add to the agenda before we get started? I saw that Shane joined, so I'll mark him here as well. All right, hearing nothing, let's talk about 4.7. So we're very close. This is the state of things right now. And this is the result of me moving uh, some things out of, and actually it looks like even more things have been moved out. So I had asked if we could push these to a later release. I don't think I did this, so someone must have come and done this because I had put this on the list. Um, but yes, I was suggesting that we move these to a later release, not because I don't want to get them out or think they're important, but so this System D overlay that I've been drafting, frankly, I haven't looked at it recently, and I don't feel right about pushing it really quick and delaying the release for it. And then for the Dracket boot stuff, kind of the same story, but my recollection is that the branch that I was working on that I hadn't even made a pull request of yet, um, I'd kind of gotten in the weeds of questioning my path forward with it in the first place. So I want to get that up as a PR, but I again didn't feel right either trying to force it in and rush it right now or delaying the release on that behalf. So the remaining things are this one I think is really easy. Oh, why are there changes requested? Did you review this, Christian? No. Oh, did it fail? Why did it fail? Oh, because it doesn't need a change log entry. I just need to say
Oh,
there we go.
yeah.
These are fields that were missed in Werewolf Control upgrade for changes that were made earlier. So the fact that these fields were added is already represented in the changelog. I just hadn't they were missed in the Werewolf Control upgrade command. So that will be fixed by this. Um, it's a relatively small PR. If anyone in the tests pass, clearly there was an X next to it, but that should be, yeah, cleared now that I've said it doesn't need a change log. If anyone feels right about approving this, I will merge it and we will be one of two on our way to having this release ready to go. Any thoughts or concerns here? And Evan, I see you joined in the meantime. Do you mind sharing your name and where you come from so that we can mark you down here in the attendees list? Huh? I'll write it down this way for now. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So let's check back in on this. Christian or Tim, any chance either one of you would, or are you reviewing it? I'm happy to take a moment to let you look over it.
I will check.
Okay. Or, I have pushed back on reviewing and merging PRs in the meeting myself in the past, so I don't want to be a hypocrite there. If you would rather not
Yeah,
do it
I
in the
don't
meeting
care.
and take time to review it after, that's fine.
I kind of refused your file thingy this morning, so
Yeah. Might bring up the other thing we'll discuss for not necessarily four, but five. Um, let's stop flattening the YAML file. Um, that if you have a bunch of six stuff that goes for if we have IPv6 and IPv4, we need to put those in two separate parent I parent items.
Um,
Big complaint I had when we tried to do this with IPMI, don't just take a bunch of tags and add the same character to them. They need to be grouped in their own bucket.
okay. These are not in the nodes conf, or most of them anyway. The IPMI thing
Yeah,
is, but most of this is just server configuration.
but does that make sense?
Maybe I would have to think about it. I'm a recovering Python developer, and one of the Zen of Python things that they like to proselytize is flat is better than nested. So I have a habit there with that I both agree and there's a part of me that rails against it. So I'll have to I'm you know, I'm not necessarily authoritative on it, but if you ask me, I am uncertain.
Yeah. Well, if we wanted flat, we wouldn't have used a YAML file.
Fair enough. So I heard Christian say, I think that you had reviewed this. Um,
there's one comment. You're calling that change requested at the bottom. No, bit up, bit up. Change requested. There's a change. That red one. Change there.
yeah.
Edit. No, no. There's one change. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, it doesn't give me information about this, so let me look in
No,
here.
it doesn't give you information.
No, it might be in here.
I can tell you, you are using. So when you are checking the WWID, you are calling this discover and set node, and this would discoverable and I wrote it in the review.
Oh, maybe it's a pending comment. Maybe you didn't submit the review.
I submitted it.
Okay.
Wait, I will check. I will check.
Yeah, because I don't see it. The last thing on this PR is my comment saying it's ready for re-review.
It's remove single overlays and add file server, so yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, then changes requested.
And the changes requested are from before. That doesn't mean you don't have more comments, but I certainly don't see them here.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Poo, poo, poo. Let me see. I have to go to the code. Hmm. No, it's comment on. You are calling search for get node or set discoverable. This is the comment. Are we calling? That's in files.go line 104. Yeah, then there should be some comment. Yeah, there's a comment about this. We never ever can call this function here because this function will go through all discoverable nodes, take the first one, which is still discoverable, set the MAC address it found you are giving here with hardware address to that node, and then it's not discoverable anymore. And that's if you put, and that's so this is not, so this function is really just meant you are booting that node and this node is discovered.
But yeah, but if it gets so by that sense, by the time it gets to this point, that node should be discoverable already. Or sorry, should already be discovered. So it wouldn't discover a node because
It
it
will
knows it's
discover, but it will discover any node which is still discoverable.
not
Should
if it
have
knows that.
discovered the node, but if, for example, if you now had 500 nodes and now you just install 499 and one is kind of somewhere getting refurbished or whatever, and then you are kind of giving it, and then you are trying to call this with files and you are doing something else with it, and then, for example, you want to get the configuration from the switch or something else. You are doing what you want to do that with that, and then the switch will become that node.
Only if the switch isn't known. If it
Only
knows the
if the
switch
switch isn't
already,
known or if anyone, if anything calls this file section and isn't known to Werewolf, will trigger that any discoverable node will become that. It's a
right.
function which writes, and we should not write anything in the file section.
Okay. I don't have an objection to that. Um,
You shouldn't because I'm right.
so in order for
But
this to
the
work,
thing is, what you are, this get node or set discoverable really means you are you are really manipulating the database because it's and if it and there is no need for that at that point.
um, I agree that it's almost certainly not needed. Um, I don't think that there's a risk to it because in order for let's take the Switch example. In order for switches to be able to pull a file out of files, like we want it to be able to get templates, right? So it needs a node identity in order for the template to render. So it has to be known to Werewolf for it to work. So in order for the switch to be able to pull templates out of Werewolf, it has to already be registered as a node in Werewolf. That doesn't mean it's
No,
provisioned with Werewolf, but Werewolf has to know what it is.
why does it? No, yeah, but yeah, that's true. But you could, for example, have the same configuration for many switches, and you don't need necessarily um, your the template doesn't need to have node specific information. So
Well, all templates render with a node struct.
render with a node, that's right. But you can, for example, if you want just a list of all of the like etc hosts, you could render, you could then have a etc hosts rendered, okay? And this would be a useful information for a switch.
Sure.
Sure,
But
but
right now,
there,
the way templates render requires a node
yeah,
struct.
yeah, then I would configure it, yeah, I would just take the first node for it.
You take the first node, what?
You would just take an arbitrary node for it. And then if that node is still discoverable, this would break that specific node. It has unintended side effects.
I don't mind removing get node or set discoverable from this so that you only can ever discover nodes during provisioning. That's fine.
Right. Yeah.
I
That's
don't
that's
think,
that's the only point I
yeah,
want to make.
I don't think the risk is quite as high as you're imagining because in order for it to work at all, the switch has to be in
Yeah. Yeah.
nodes.conf.
Okay. Okay. It's not. You're right. You would. It will not immediately explode in your face and immediately make it unusable. There will be just very, very special circumstances where this could
Yeah,
make
it's fair. Yeah, I'll
but
make that
the
change.
thing is for the logic behind it makes it so hard. That's just it's such a it's like you are doing the wrong thing at the wrong place. And we
Yeah,
can easily fix it. You just don't call this function. You
well,
could,
we'll just need a get node that fails if it doesn't know about the node, rather than a
yeah,
get node or
right,
set discoverable that
right,
can discover one. That's
right.
totally fine.
Yeah.
What the intent was just to have when the server's getting a node, it always behaves the same. And so when it's getting it during provisioning,
Yeah.
it can discover it when it's
That's totally fair, but that's the reason why I have reviews.
okay. I think that's a reasonable pushback. So I'm going to
It's not. I really like the function. I really like the functionality, but this was just so. Oh no, why?
so
I
I'll
wouldn't
fix
have
that
pushed
right after
back,
the
but
meeting.
that's not something I can really say. Okay, that's I
Sure.
can just go easily over it and say, yeah, no. And why doesn't it? It shows me here the comment. I will send you here. Does it work here? Yeah, there you see it. It's GitHub Mastodon. I'll just send it here in the messages, the comment.
It's you see how it says pending there? That means you need to go up to the top and say submit review.
Huh?
So it wants
Ah,
you to be able to have multiple comments and then you submit your review all at once.
okay. Thank you. Now you see it. Now it's there.
Yeah. So that's the only thing.
That's the
All
only
right.
thing.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll
Rest was
fix
really
that.
great. Rest I like. The only thing, if we are in it, I did not really comment on it. We could that you now have um the security is kind of inherited from the file security is inherited from the normal security. This is not reflected in the documentation at
I
all
think it
points.
is.
It's in the documentation, but no, yeah.
So it says that it defaults to the value of secure true.
Yeah. But I just if you let's change.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
unset inherits from secure.
yeah. There
Set to
it
false.
says it inherits. Yeah, then.
Okay.
But that's just not change the database.
I will fix that and then send it back to you.
Yeah.
Um, this here, has anyone approved this in the meantime? So if we can get this one reviewed and approved today also, then I think we're ready to go for a release.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
at
just over it.
at that point, is there anyone who would prefer that we do 480 RC1 and give that a week or two before calling it the real one? Or should we just go to 480?
Could we just merge in Adrian's test before? And if this test runs good, then we don't need the RC testing any. We do not have to because that's just to shout out to Adrian. That's a great deal what
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
doing there. But we have a really full, how is it called? How did he call it? See, no, 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 that's end-to-end integration tests.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk about that next then.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have not had a chance yet to review this, but I do see that Adrian has gotten it down to 5 minutes, which is great. And two, it seems like everyone else on the committee has reviewed this and thinks it's awesome. So, has anyone approved it yet? Yes. So Tim has approved it. With that, I wouldn't mind bringing this into the 4.8 release, and then we just call that the 4.80. Is that reasonable to everyone, or are there any concerns with that?
So one thing to note, Adrian did make a decent amount of architectural changes to it. He pulled Lima out and made it run in a Docker.
Hmm.
So there are a couple things there that, structurally, those who reviewed it before may want to look at it again. I wouldn't mind taking another pass, but at the same time, because it's so isolated, I would be in favor of just like I could do a 5 minute review and just merging as is because it's just part of the CI pipeline.
Yeah, it's test suite. It's not like it's going to make or break what's there. Um, I'll call it the milestone anyway. I've said 4.8, but it's actually 4.7 that we're working on, not 4.8.
And I agree with Adrian. We should merge it into main. I would even do that now. Or give me 10 minutes to review it,
Yeah.
and then we can merge it and then it can do the testing for it. I'm in favor of a dot zero because since we're doing semantic release, those who really care won't do a dot zero, or at least let the dot zeros sit for a little bit before they actually go ahead and use them.
Yep. All right. Then with one vote, well, here, the CI. All right. So shall it be. We've already talked about this. I'll expect that that will be merged probably before I look at it again. And then next thing on my list, let's close out some of these tabs. Um, I wanted to, after this release is out, try and get every pull request assigned to a person. I think that is, well, okay, yeah, now I'm seeing where it is. That's not the case for, let's say, half, maybe a little bit more than half of these. And so I don't know necessarily if it's the right thing for us to like sit here on the call and assign these out. Um, but if the members of the committee wouldn't mind looking at, this is just the full PR list. There's only 18. It's not that bad. See if there's anything that you are particularly interested in, and I will do the same. And if
Can you filter out the what's just the how's it called? If it's not ready for review yet?
ah, um, there is a way to do it. I think it's not available in the UI. You have to like
Ah,
know the
okay.
syntax for it.
Can't you set the PRs into draft if they're not ready?
Ooh, maybe you're right. So maybe this and then yeah, and then my minus. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Jason. Did I mark you? I think yeah, I did mark you on here. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Yes, so these are the ones that are nominally ready, which brings us down to 11. So this one is well, here. I'm gonna give this one to Tim because Tim's gonna review it and merge it. Oh, I just myself, not me. And then this one is from a CIQer, so I'll assign this to myself to at least review it. Um, Christian, I'll assign this one to you for now.
Why is it assigned to me? It's from me.
Well, okay, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, you have to assign
Is
it
it
to
ready
you.
to go?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'll look at it. Um, this one's also a CIQer. This is Steven again. Hmm. I don't think I saw this come through. Christian, it looks like you approved this. Do you mind if I assign it to you and then maybe we can get it merged?
Yeah.
Okay. This
Do I
one,
not become automatically reviewer when I approved it?
you became a reviewer, but it tracks assignee separately from that.
Ah,
So
then the UI is stupid.
um, who was doing the Ganesha stuff? Tim, do you mind if I hand this one to you?
Who'd you call
Well,
out?
Jonathan, I think this boils down to I want Ganesha. I don't necessarily use it, but it's actually come up before where I might need
Yeah.
it. But it's the same, it's kind of the same thing. NFS4, NFS Ganesha, PNFS, XFS, right? All these possibilities we were talking about. We just need to make sure we can split off to where it's instead of building, actually having a PR where you have to integrate it into Werewolf, it should just be able to, if I want NFS Ganesha support, I put a module together and I add it to Werewolf at any time and not have
Well,
to actually put it in.
right, which that's the goal of um the split host overlay stuff. That should make that possible. That's already roadmapped for I think 4.8. And so maybe the right thing is to look at this and say, oh, this isn't how we would do it. And if I am the most like ready to make that assessment, then maybe I'll just assign it to myself. But yeah, I don't think that integrating like bespoke Ganesha support into Werewolf is likely the right thing. But
Yeah.
maybe we could take this as a poke for um, having host overlays that would implement it using the new split host overlay support that we're going to be adding. So I'll take a look at it and see
And
if I
that's what
can.
I'm looking for, right? Because I
Yeah.
can add stuff. And same thing with Crony and NTP, depending on which one I want to use. It just depends on which module I want to, or which configuration I want to put into my file.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like me asking someone to look at these does not mean that the correct answer is and merge it.
Yeah.
Maybe the correct answer is, oh, this isn't how we want to do this. Um, Christian, I see you've reviewed this one in the past as well, so I'm going to assign this one to you as well. All right. So that's an assignee to everything that is at least marked ready for review. And then the stuff, let's see the things that are not and assign those to the people that are writing them. So this one is, oh, no, there, and then this is you as well. And let's see if I can assign something to you, Shane. Oh, I can't. Maybe we should add you to the project so I can assign you things. I know we talked about this last time. I did take it out of the release for now. I think, yeah, it's tagged for 4.8. We have a separate at CIQ anyway. We have a separate potential customer side provocation to work on this too. So if that materializes, then there will be people at CIQs that'll be digging into this and helping with it as well. All right. Well, I'll consider that a successful conclusion of this thing. I guess I'll do milestone work later, but
Yeah.
um,
Can I answer a quick question?
please.
Yeah. With five, what really makes five five versus just more four? I mean, really, what is it? Most of the time, it's starting to look more like maybe like more like sometimes the prescriptions or subscription apps that come out where it's really not anything else other than just a new name. But I was wondering if there's something really significant about five that makes it like the generational leap over four.
So that the main reason I would call it a five over a four dot something and just improve is I would like a chance to go over Werewolf Control and audit it and change things and break things if we decide that we want to. The other things are largely we have a bunch of things that we have done and marked as tech previews, and I want to use five as a line in the sand for we have finished all of the tech previews and they are ready, and then have five be the no questions asked. This is the one where we aren't kind of hedging our bets and saying things are unfinished.
Okay. No, actually, I like that. Being able to go through and do a significant changes to WWE control.
Yeah.
Um, Along the same lines, I will put one item in. It's actually starting to impact me. But I will put in a feature request for how we handle our networking. And it kind of boils down to what I was commenting about grouping.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm hitting the issues now where I've got NICs that I need multiple networks on. My IPMI and my regular network are sitting on the same, or and the regular NIC are on the same network, and I want to look at actually defining a network as a network and not just stuff added to a device.
Yeah, that's fine. Or that's fair. I
Yeah,
think there is
everybody
an issue
wants
for
that.
that in there already. And so if you want to find that and like fix it up, or if you want to close that and write a new one, um, but yeah, I agree with that in principle.
So I sorry, Christian said something. You said everybody wants
Yeah,
that.
it's everybody wants it, but nobody implements it.
Yeah, I have an idea of how it's like I've been
It's
ruminating on it.
Great. Get it down.
Uh, but I need to, you know,
it's you would just add a section like profiles and nodes, then you would have networks, and
yeah,
then you
Rachel,
can, for example, in a profile, you just pick up that network name, and
way
then
back at
this would be just like the only question we have to solve then is would if you change the properties in a now okay, the network feeds in the profile and then the profile feeds in the node. So if you change, so the changes in the profile would override the values in the network. That's it. Okay.
so little
It's clear.
history. Way back when this project started. I submitted the spec for how this should look, and it was just determined it was too complicated to get started with. But my original plan was actually define a network, and then under your devices, you'd have attach as a line, and then you'd list which networks you're attaching your device to.
Yeah.
No, why so complicated? You just have, it's like, okay, you have like profile, we have now profiles node, and we just add one other section, it's networks. Then the
Yes.
key, and then if you have in the profile that key, it picks all the values like netmask and all that kind of stuff from that network section.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only thing you have to specify is on the network device, here's my MAC address.
Then
And then
this
any
you would
related
do that on
info.
the
Yeah.
node.
Yeah.
You would do that on the node. It would be merged in like we merge in the profile values to the
Yeah,
nodes.
it's basically a profile for a NetDev. And then you can just refer to the networks and it inherits the settings out of the network.
Right.
So let me
And you
submit
would
it.
just then set an IP address in the
Mhm.
node.
Okay. Let me submit it as a proposal.
Yeah. I think if you have a GitHub issue that has the YAML that you want to work, that's the best way to document it.
Yeah.
So, not part of V5, but something I'm encouraging us internally at CIQ to be doing is cleaning some things up towards V5. These would be in like a 4.8, 4.9 or whatever, along the way. And so that, Jeremy, is where we have the split host overlays, which should let us
That's
swap
done.
out parts of the server. Hmm?
That's done.
No, we have split
Ah, the host
host
overlays. Yeah,
overlays.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Split host
No, that's not done.
overlays. I have a theory for fixing single stage boot so that it doesn't fail, but maybe it won't work, but I at least want to have tried it. I want to finally add CIF support. I want to add Cloud init support.
Yeah, Cloud Init is done. With your files PR, you just add in Cloud Init overlay and you're done.
Well, yeah, we don't have the overlay yet, though, is what I mean.
Yeah, but
I want to see
that's
the
come
overlay.
on.
Yeah, it's a list of things to do.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
list of things to do. Yeah, yeah. It's a low-hanging fruit.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
phrase it that
It
way.
should be great. Uh, make overlay rebuilds better. I have some writings about how we might actually be able to enable secure true for system overlays now, at least at
That's
Dracut,
also
because,
done with the TPM stuff. We don't have to secure the system overlays. Why do you want to secure them? Why do you want to that's open source. And all
well,
the rest.
maybe. But if we knew that the system overlays were, I don't know. Maybe it's not
Yeah,
important.
we could we could say, okay, with the TPM, when you review the TPM, we would just say, okay, we pull an intermediate kind of system overlay.
What I actually mean is that when we're using Dracut, Dracut can control its source IP when it's pulling the system over, or sorry, source port when it's pulling the system overlay. So we can do low numbered ports if we want. And we can also have, in theory, we can do TLS and we could do the system overlay over TLS as well. So we could do that.
Yeah.
And that rolls up into better Werewolf server node security. So I'm gonna put that there. Um,
Yeah.
and then make it easier to edit
Oh,
the
resources. Yeah,
resources.
we have resources. I always forget that we have
Yeah.
resources.
So, these are mostly internal goals that I'm trying to set for CIQ, but I don't want to operate in a vacuum. So,
Yeah, but
um,
I think the resource handling should be an easy job for
yeah,
Cloud or Gemini, or just say,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
we need, here are the comments how we want it, add it for resources.
Yep, absolutely.
So the thing, it's really interesting because when I implemented that stuff, that AI tools were not um, on that kind of level. And now they are there, and you would simply say so. Exactly, especially if you have such a big code base where we have relatively, yeah. This is when I wrote the TPM stuff, I just said, yeah, okay, check here the comment how we handle nodes, how we handle lists, and now I need a comment how to handle here the TPM stuff.
Yeah. Um, just as an aside, um, yesterday and the day before, I don't know if you guys have used the remote control feature of Claude. But you can have Claude running like on your workstation and then open the session up to be accessible from the mobile app. And so I could just, where I was going, continue chatting with Claude and telling it what to do. And it was very
Mm.
strange and strangely effective. That was for a different project, not for Werewolf, but if you haven't tried
We're
that
not
out,
allowed to have different projects. Come on.
yeah. All right. That's the end of our agenda. Anything else that we need to discuss before we vacate for the day? All right. Well, Jeremy, I look forward to I think two things from you actually. One is the network stuff that you were talking about. The other is you were reporting a bug with the host overlays not getting reapplied when you run configure minus A. That might be fixed in main, but
Yeah,
it
I
would be
don't
good
know.
to.
That's why I wasn't sure if it was a bug or not. I didn't know if it was
It's definitely a
intentional.
bug, but it sounds
Okay.
super familiar. So I think that we may have already fixed it in main. But well,
And
one,
that
if you don't mind trying it in main.
might be because I like to edit files. I don't go through www control most of the time.
Well, you
And
can't edit werewolf.conf with werewolf control anyway, so that you would have to edit that by hand.
oh no, no, no. I'm sorry. I was just editing overlays, and the overlays weren't, the host wasn't being updated until I did the HTTP. It was, like I said, it's an odd thing. I didn't know if it was by design.
Yeah,
That's why I
that
was
that's odd.
checking.
It's especially weird that it didn't apply, but it did when you ran it against the HTTP directly. So I don't
Yep.
know. If it persists, open a bug.
Okay.
All right. Thanks all for being here and for the discussion. This is great. I'll be working to get 470 out.
Well,
As soon as those PRs are merged, I will fix this one, Christian, and get it back to you, and we'll see
yeah,
if we can get that approved too.
okay.
Thanks all.
See you. Bye.